Hey folks, it's me again, just making another random video. Well, I thought I'd do a review on this system. This is the Retro Entertainment System made by Retrobit. This is Retrobit's answer to Yobo's FC game console, Hyperkin's FC Loader or Retron 1, and Gamers Tech new 8-bit NES system. Well, it's been around for quite some time, but it's the newest of the bunch. You can also get variations of other systems like Hyperkin has the Retron 3. Retrobit has the Super Retro Trio, which in my opinion is the best because Retrobit makes the best stuff, at least. But when it comes to having just Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo, I think Hyperkin nailed it with their Retron 2 compared to the Retro Duo. At least when it comes if you want to use the regular controllers. The Retro Duo only has Super Nintendo controller ports. That's not important. Let's go ahead and do an over-review of the system. Also, if anyone's asking me, is this the original dust cover color? That's a no, unfortunately. I actually stole that from another NES clone, that being this one. I took the dust covers from this guy, the Yobo Factor 5. Let me just say, while the shape looks really cool, this NES system, what can I say? It's mediocre. What's really the only purpose, in my opinion, is, well, getting parts from it. But I'm going to talk about the Factor 5 some other time. But for now, let's focus on the Retro Entertainment System. Plus, to be honest, Retrobit makes better stuff than Yobo Gameware. But let's not get into that. This is your dust cover. Basically, this is where you stick an NES cartridge in. Let's take a NES cartridge, for example, like Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. You can stick a game in straight in, or you can rock it back. But when you try to pull the game up, don't pull it straight out. Sometimes when I know this guy on YouTube who basically pulled it straight out, and what happened was, well, I'll explain more after I take the cartridge out. You want to rock it out like this. What happened to his unit is basically the little post. I don't know if you can see this, but the post that basically holds the cartridge slot broke. That was his own fault. So if you have an NES clone system like the RES or the FC Loader by Hyperkin or the Yobo FC game console, I gotta warn you, don't pull the cartridge straight out, or you'll end up damaging the system. Although it is sort of an easy fix. Basically, you need like a super glue or hot glue gun or something like that. Basically, you unscrew the post and the screw from the little screw hole. Glue the post back on and make sure it's sturdy on there. You want to apply a lot of super glue so it doesn't well, become a problem again. Also, another thing, if anyone's wondering, this is actually the same shape style as the Yobo FC game console, so you can actually swap parts around. Like, you could put a Yobo motherboard into this shell and vice versa, as long as it's the newer version. The earlier Yobo FC game consoles, the LED is right on the power button. The later ones are similar to what you see here on the Retro Entertainment System. Also, this is your power and reset button. And on the front, you got your two controller ports. I'll get onto the controllers in a moment. What's really nice is they have NES controller ports. The problem is, well, they're horizontal, not vertical like the original NES. So if you want to use accessories like the Fourscore, the satellite, or certain NES accessories that have to have both ports lined up vertically, well, you're SOL, unfortunately. You're screwed out of luck. But you could try getting away by using two extension cables. I'm not sure if that'll work or not, so you'll have to try it for yourself. On the back here, you got your DC in. Now I gotta mention, if you have this, if you buy this system loose, you want to get the proper AC adapter. Do not power this with the NES AC adapter or a Famicom AC adapter. You're going to destroy your system. And you got your AV out jacks. I'll get onto that. Let me mention that it's mono, just like the original NES. If you want stereo, you will need to get an audio splitter that plugs into here, or you can get one of those cables. Well, if I could find it on my pile. Or you can get one of these cables that plugs into the white, and then you can get somewhat stereo sound. Well, actually, you'll be getting mono from both channels. So that will do the job. And now, speaking of AC adapter, let me pull out the RES's AC adapter. This is what it looks like. You got says AC adapter, ICE power supply, model number FD35UD-6-200. There's the serial number. This is a input of 110 volts, 60 hertz, 90 milliamps. The output is 6 volts with 200 milliamps. And there's the polarity. You want to be sure you get this AC adapter with it. If you don't, you'll have to, well, find one that actually comes with the AC adapter, whether it being broken or semi-working. So you want to get this AC adapter. Don't plug it in with the wrong AC adapter, or you'll destroy a transistor in here, and then you'd have to replace that. There is a video on how to do that, but I don't think you'd want to be replacing a transistor. Now let's go ahead and get on with the controllers. Whatever color system you buy, the controllers match them. This one's black and red. The dust cover on this one's supposed to be red, but I've shown earlier that it was missing one of the flaps, so I decided to improvise and take one from a white system. You got your directional pad. Let me just say, if you're a fan of the Sega Genesis or Sega Saturn controller, you're going to love this controller, D-pad. It's pretty decent, but if you grew up with an NES one, you'd be better off using an NES controller. Behind here you have your select and start buttons, and a slow button, which is basically rapid fire on the start button. You got your face buttons B and A. You may be wondering whether these two buttons, they're your turbo buttons. You got double B and double A, which are basically your rapid fire B and rapid fire A buttons. Also, this is what the back of the controller looks like. It's nice that it has this little indent on the back. It makes it feel very good in the hands. And if anyone's wondering, will this fit in the actual Nintendo Entertainment System? The answer is yes. I've done it before, and it actually works rather well. Also, if anyone's wondering what a regular NES controller looks like, unfortunately, I don't have the original rectangular controller. The only thing I pretty much have is, well, the dog bone controller. In fact, this will work with the NES, well, the RES system, and the original rectangular one will work also. I don't have one on hand because I traded my original NES controller for this one because I like the feel of the dog bone controller. It has a very nice, comfortable D-pad, select and start, very nice. The B and A buttons feel very good. And just to prove that this will fit this system, I gotta warn you, you gotta give it a bit of force. And it may feel like you're going to break it, but trust me, it will fit. See? Fits. It may stick out a few centimeters, but it will register and work. So, let's go ahead and hook it up to the TV and test it out with the game, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you want to see the system in action. Well, let's go ahead and do that. Alright, I got the retro entertainment system set up. Look at how small it is. If you have small space, this system is perfect. It's not giant like the Toaster NES, but most people would say that one's better because it actually is compatible with all games because it has a PPU and a CPU, unlike a clone system which has a Nintendo on a chip. But let me just say this system is actually probably one of the best NES clones out there. So if you're after an NES but can't seem to find a regular NES anywhere, this would be a good alternative. Let's go ahead and power it on. I'm going to test it out with Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. Also, I'm going to be using this controller. Well, that's kind of loud. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Or let's bring this back so you can get a better glance of the system. Sorry, I'm trying to get this even out so it would actually look better angled. There we go. Alright. So let's go ahead and select Super Mario Brothers. I should probably turn down the volume. The audio is kind of loud on the RES system compared to my AV Famicom. The audio is so quiet on that. So if there's one thing that this clone system does better than the actual NES that I have, or in this case my AV Famicom, the audio is nice and loud. Also, if you look at the screen, I don't know if you can tell, but there are some noticeable pixels and it looks a bit blurry. But at least the colors are right. It's not messed up like the gel bars on the top loader. If anyone has a top loader, they'll know what I'm talking about. let's go ahead and play some Super Mario Bros. World 1-1. Here we go! Okay, you hear the sound, it's a bit muffled. There's a reason for that. Actually, there is a fix for that. Excuse me. Alright, let me correct myself. To fix the sound, you need to solder on a resistor to one of the sound boards on the RES system. The same thing applies with the Retro Duo. If you want to look up how to do that, check out Satoshi Matrix's video about the RES. He also did a review on the system, which, let me just say, he did a great job reviewing. Alright. Anyway, that was my phone that went off. Ignore that. Now I'm going to go ahead and test it out with another game for anyone who wants to see some more games. So, let me go ahead and grab another game. I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's see. Let's do The Legend of Zelda. Sorry about that edit out, but for some reason my cartridge wasn't working properly, so. And unfortunately it deleted my previous save file. But it's not a big deal because I wasn't that far in the game, so. I was only like basically wandering around and I only had like 4 bombs and a few rupees, but let's go ahead and test it out. Heading down the stairs. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Yeah. For those who don't like the sound of how this is emulating the games, there is a fix for that. I mentioned that early in the video. Let's go ahead and kill some enemies. I don't know what those enemies are called. So come on, give me a rupee. Thank you. I responded by my demand. Lovely. Oops. Just what I needed. Uh-oh. Yikes. This way, get away from the water. That enemy will not go away. Let's head down here and see what he has. Buy something, will ya? That's kind of rude. So, anyway, that goes to show The Legend of Zelda does work on the RES. If you were playing this on a different NES clone, it would sound somewhat muffled, or with the Famicom music, which sounds completely wrong in my opinion. I'm glad that this system actually has the proper music. So, I guess that should be enough of this game, and I'll go ahead and give you my final thoughts off camera. Let me collect some rupees, and then I'm going to go ahead and end off the video. You know what? I'm just going to jump to the final conclusion. Okay, and now my final thoughts on the Retro Entertainment System. Do I recommend picking it up? Absolutely. Although I need to point out one thing to people who are buying online, whether it being Amazon or eBay or wherever they plan on buying this system, whether it be Craigslist or websites, anywhere. So my advice for you is if you're going to get a Retro Entertainment System, I should mention that you should get the older models that have a picture of just the system. Avoid the ones that have a picture of a cartridge in the system. I heard those ones have a bad, well, let's just say the games do not sound good on that version. I don't have that version of the RES. I have the earlier one with the better sound. So for anyone who has one of those RES systems, please make a video about it showing how bad it is. So. Also, on the controllers, if you are not a fan of the Sega Genesis controller and prefer using an NES controller, well, get an NES controller. I mean, these are okay, but if you're used to something that's original, here's my advice. Go out and hunt down an original controller. Doesn't matter if it's the dog bone or the regular, or even the NES Advantage or the NES Max. Get those controllers. So they will work on here. Even the Zapper will work, although you'll have to have a CRT television for that. So that's my review of the Retro Entertainment System. Thanks for watching.